From an idea to reality. This is a short story about music, the deeper psychology and philosophy behind art, creativity, and all that other stuff. So, thanks for tuning in, and thank you for listening. Since childhood, I was raised on a wide range of music from Tupac to Blink 182, Metallica, and Backstreet Boys. My family introduced me to so many different genres of awesome music that I still listen to this very day. Styles such as oldies but goodies, rap, rock, R&B, heavy metal, funk, old school, freestyle, and the list goes on and on and on. Unconsciously or subconsciously, as some may say, these songs helped shape and mold my memories as well as my creative mind. Certain tunes would bring back vivid memories. A specific chorus or melody can help me reminisce of a particular childhood moment. One very clear memory always comes back when I hear the classic song Wishing on a Star by the group Rose Royce. Almost like a dream, I remember standing in the shower, warm water dripping from my head and running down my back into my grandmother's brightly lit bathroom. The mirror was covered in fog from the steamy mist that hovered over. I must have been 8 or 9 years of age, and my family always kept a radio in the bathroom. One must hold on to these beautiful and visceral memories as they are key moments of your youth and simpler times. Now, we've all had our share of bad memories as well, but we must hold on tighter to the good ones. Like the saying goes, it's not what happens to you, it's what you do about what happens to you. With all of this wonderful music downloaded and absorbed into my brain, I felt the urge to search for more and more, getting into the deeper psychology and philosophy of music itself. This would later become my life's purpose, without even knowing what the hell that meant or overthinking it. Basically, I fell in love, and I will be in love till I am dead with music, of course. Think back to your favorite songs when you were 10, 11, 12 years young. Why did you love it so much? What memories does it bring back, if any? Chapter 2, 16 and Pac. Around the age of 16, I started writing my very first rap songs. Heavily into Tupac, I was writing some very deep and in-depth lyrics that would impress even me today, if only I could find them. This was years after buying every BG Cash Money Artist album, bumping E40, Bone Thugs, and Harmony in the car with my mom on the way to our local mall and going through what I thought were some rough times at home. I remember sitting in my brother's room at the apartment complex my dad was renting with this 70-page notepad, writing words to no beat. But inside, I felt the music. The beat was already created in my mind, yet I didn't even know what instruments I was hearing. What was a verse? What was a bridge? A hook? A chorus? So my mission in life was to teach myself how to master the art of song creation. Mind you, during this process, I was clueless to passions, life purpose, dreams, goals, etc. One day, after coming home with around $600 of money I made selling drugs at high school, my mom's husband catches me cooking up what I thought was a cheaper version of crack rock, thus leading my pregnant mother calling my father to come and handle me. As soon as he arrived, my dad ripped the Death Row Records and All Eyes on Me posters off my walls, crumpling them up into small paper balls, tossing them into the trash. On the outside, I showed no emotion, but in the inside, I was absolutely devastated. Surely, I was going to be the revival of the dying Death Row Records, or so I thought. This moment would be the pivot to my journey in life. Time goes by, my rap career suddenly stops. My dad convinces me to work at Taco Bell, where his then wife was managing, but at another location, to make some quote-unquote real money. This being my first job, I didn't know what to expect. Come to find out, I get a hang of this 9 to 5 thing. I start clocking in the hours, collecting paycheck after paycheck, saving, and saving. My dad and I get into an altercation shortly after, so I move back with my mom's. Around this time, I meet a very wonderful young lady who becomes my first girlfriend. Now this is where I begin to see a fork in the road appearing in the distance. Here I am, 17, going on 18 years old with a job at Taco Bell, a brand new girlfriend, and am back with my mom who just recently gave birth to my baby brother. Things were about to get on track until suddenly my cousin, my older brother in a sense, passes away from alcohol poisoning. This young man was on his way to becoming a fucking rock star in the punk community. My family was absolutely crushed. In all honesty, as I'm writing this sentence right now, a song came to mind which brings me back to the day I found out my cousin Sid had passed away. That song is called Ghetto Gumbo by Mac Dre. The exact morning that I received my copy of the Rompilation, which I ordered online and waited almost a month for, is the exact day we found out my cousin was gone. Music speaks, and it reminds us of key moments in our lives. It is our decision to let the past affect us or help us grow, learn, and evolve. We were torn, our family shattered. My cousin, a promising lead singer, guitar player in his punk band, was dead at the age of 19. At his wake, my aunt, his mother, handed out cassette tapes of his latest recordings. It's eerie and surreal yet beautiful listening to those demo tracks that my cousin was so passionate about leading up to his passing. The joy and excitement in his voice as he jokes in between songs, the obnoxious, half-pronounced words he expressed as the guitar wailed underneath and the drums pounding away. To most of us, it is annoying, loud noise, but to us, it was my cousin. Once again, this is the power of music, melody, and sound. Trapped in time, we can listen back to the recordings and hear my cousin's voice as if he were here with us today. Unconsciously, the same rules apply for some of your favorite artists, rappers, musicians, singers, and actors who are deceased. Through their art and work, you can reminisce and see it from their eyes. Certain words, phrases, laughs, screams, or even breaths can deliver strong emotions in the listener. Not knowing my mind was absorbing these rules, concepts, and information at an extreme rate, I would often relate more to dead musicians than ones who were alive. Perhaps subconsciously, I'm still not 100% sure why. Time moves on. Times keep ticking as often as it does, and my mother relocates to Roseville, California, a small town north of Sacramento. My ultimatum was to stay in San Jose with my girlfriend at the time, or move up to the extremely hot and often very boring Roseville. My choice was to stay. Another moment in my life which would unknowingly be the beginning of my serious music career. Creating beats and writing lyrics became an everyday obsession. Now, living with my mother's friend Stella, I had the space and tools to produce, practice, and write whatever music came to mind. My rap career started all over again. I became the rapper, producer, and visionary D-Man. D-M-A-N, D-Man was my first chosen name, and to be honest with you, it sounds pretty stupid and unoriginal now that I think about it. Stella had bought me a Yamaha E403 electronic keyboard, which I absolutely fell in love with. I would spend hours upon hours going through various sounds that were pre-programmed into this instrument. Being somewhere around $150, this keyboard was perfect for beginner to intermediate musicians. I distinctly remember that in order to record a full-length beat for my earliest rap songs, I would have to sit and play the entire structure out in one recording session. For example, if I came up with a brilliant piano melody, I'd hit record and play the parts over and over with the click track for the entire length of the song. Basically, to put it in layman's terms, this thing had no loop setting. Another very frustrating experience for creating my full-length songs was the fact that I could only use 5 sounds at a time. For instance, drums, bass, and a single melody comprise for most of a song in any music genre. That left me with 2 more sounds I could use to make the song come to life. There are producers or composers out there who use 10, 20, or even 25 different sounds in a single song. Well, this meant I had to get very crafty, and it challenged my creativity to its maximum potential. One song that I still have and listen to this day is called Game I Spit. It was a pain in the ass to make with only 5 sounds, but I miraculously figured out how to use 7 or 8 sounds during a recording session, and it was quote unquote all in the numbers. Chapter 4, All in the Numbers. I remember having the drums, bass, main melody, and hall strings recorded for this song GIS, or Game I Spit. That was 4 sounds/instruments, and next up was the 5th and final sound to complete this masterpiece. But my intuition suggested, why not switch over to different instruments or sounds programmed into the keyboard during a recording session? Remember, there was no loop button. I was thrilled and pretty mind blown at the thought of this. Let's say a flute noise programmed into the Yamaha keyboard was labeled 104 pan flute, and a piano noise was labeled 082 grand piano. The electronic instruments were in numerical order. For example, 023 sub bass, 219 hall strings, etc. For the 5th and final sound to complete this brand new song, I'd have to hit record, play the 104 pan flute parts, then while the song was still recording, switch the twist knob and find 084 grand piano and play those parts as well. Then back and forth between those 2 electronic instruments the entire time while the song was still recording. Wow. I know this sounds like a headache, and believe me, it was. But this is the dedication, love, passion, and hard work put into crafting complete and original music. Under the name D-Man, I created 4 cassette tape demos, 5 to 6 CD demos, and a very amateur but awesome full-length album. My friends and even I recorded a short black and white music video. I cringe every time I listen back to those old songs, as my rapping style was very, very different, and my voice was also very, very different. It's funny now that I listen to these songs I recorded in the past, from my earliest work to tracks I've made recently. Somewhere around 150 to 200 complete songs with lyrics, beats, hooks, and many sleepless nights were just practice. These songs are pretty damn amateur. Over time, I learned not to hold on so tightly to songs I've spent long hours crafting and creating, and to move on quick and make more. The longer one spends on very little detail will be miles behind in the competitive world. Not just in music, but the same goes for employment, inventions, school, and so on. When it comes down to it, don't let huge numbers fool you. Someone like myself, who had made 150 songs at one point, may just be getting started. Imagine a rapper who recorded and completed 1,000 full-length songs. Did any of them hit? Are any of their songs gaining radio play? I believe every single song, same goes for art, movie, books, should be well crafted, executed precisely, and be an overall joy to make. Some songs are made for fun, but if you really want to turn music into a career and not just a hobby, then you have to get serious. Care for your music like you would your child. The songs, albums, and creativity need your attention. Without you, they will not survive. Always remember that. Chapter number 5, Back to My Childhood Home. For the first 13 to 14 years of my life, I was raised at my grandmother's home in northeast section of San Jose. At times, there was anywhere from 9 to 12 family members residing in that house. Then, during my 8th grade year attending Piedmont Middle School, my mother, stepfather, and I moved to South San Jose. 4 years later, I moved in with Stella at 18 years old, and another 3-4 years later, I was back at my grandmother's house. With my grandma's house already at its maximum capacity, I had to make the living room area my residence, the couch being my temporary bed. I picked up a job at Pete's Coffee in Milpitas, California for the time being, and was happy to finally be back where my life had begun. I was around 21 to 22 years of age at this time, still under the stage name D-Man. Before leaving Stella's house and moving back to my grandmother's, I had the pleasure of reconnecting with my friend, whom I consider more like a brother, Rick One. Rick One and I both attended Lee High School in South San Jose on the border of Los Gatos. We absolutely hated that school with a passion, considering both of us were from the east side of San Jose. Settling in my new room, the living room of my childhood home, my brother Rick One and I would spend countless late nights and early mornings drinking booze, freestyling over various beats, practicing sharpening our skills. Passion was felt through every single word that we spoke. We could constantly constructively compete with each other, coming up with clever punchlines and our best rhymes. A typical night of hip-hop creating would consist of E&J or any other kind of brandy or beer, a laptop set up with FL Studio, notepads, and cigarettes. These moments would be key to my undying love of the art of underground rap and hip-hop. Chapter number 6, A New and Dark Beginning. My brother Rick One and I were raw, aggressive, and untouchable on the mic. Together we spent countless all-nighters recording song after song on the program Sony Acid Pro and the creepy and darkly lit spider-infested garage of my grandmother's house. According to friends that came to visit, there was a very ominous and uneasy feeling in that home. One particular night, I remember recording a song with my new voice that had evolved from my previous style. As I was rapping with the new technique of deep and raspy tones, it suddenly clicked. My new artist/stage name would become Demise. It had a ring to it, and from that moment, I began to take a very serious approach to music and take it in a very dark direction. During this time, I had the opportunity to move into the room hand-built inside of the garage. Years earlier, my Uncle Jimmy, who was alive at the time, built a very decent-sized bedroom and a certain section of the garage. This made the vibe even more creepy, knowing that my now deceased uncle's spirit may be lurking in my new bedroom and in the surrounding areas. Noises were heard from all corners of the garage and in my room. Mice, spiders, cockroaches crawled across the floor on a nightly basis. Everyone who came over to visit had a very eerie feeling and told me that they felt someone staring at them. These were weird and very dark times for me. Besides recording and producing new beats on the regular, I was drinking heavily and chain-smoking cigarettes every day. With these terrible habits, I watched my money slowly fade away, always waiting for my next paycheck to buy more booze and smokes. Depression and uncertainty set in as I was drinking away past experiences, failed relationships, family problems, and an unsure future. Being jobless, I would often spend the whole day guzzling down cheap beers and hanging out with homeless people who would tell me about their past. This was a very eye-opening experience, and I do not regret any of this as it helped me learn what not to do in life. My grandmother threatened to kick my ass out if I didn't find a job. Chapter 7, The Idea, the Vision, the Plan. Here I was, 23 years old, jobless and alcoholic, a chain smoker, depressed, bad health, single, and on the very verge of giving up on life. Drinking had become such a huge culprit that I could not function properly without it. I didn't think I could interact with people normally without being buzzed or drunk. Unfortunately, the alcohol was in control of my everyday life, and my family knew it. My friends knew it. Even I knew it, but I didn't want to fully admit it to myself. The one and only thing besides love for my family that gave me any small glimpse of hope was music. My love for rap, hip-hop, and overall musical creation was so strong that I knew it would be my only way out of this super dark hole that I had dug for myself. Notice that I said I dug the hole myself. Most people's problems in life are created by their own doing. Casting blame on others around them takes the weight off and makes them feel more secure. I was once one of these negative types of people. Through all the years of making and producing beats, sleepless nights of rapping and freestyling, sharpening my verbal skills like a ninja would a sword, to take a monumental step in a new and big direction. Instead of complaining about my life, drinking alcohol and smoking cigarettes, I would channel all of the negative energy into some of my best work to date. Another memory, though a bit hazy, was me staring at myself in the mirror saying, "You're either gonna die, end up homeless, or in prison if you keep this drinking habit up." Do you really want to chase your music dream, or do you just want to give up and let reality take you down? Stop wasting your time. Life is too short, and work on your music. Just create a full-length album. This was the turning point in my life from which I would set a major goal and take the steps to try and accomplish it with the ferocity and hard work of an obsessive madman. A full-length album was something that I tried before under the name D-Man, but I wasn't quite ready at the time. Now, under the new name Demise, a full-length album would be my dream goal, and I would rather die than let this project slip through my hands, thus coming up with the method Do or Die, or the Do or Die method. It's something that you will die for in the process of creating. In order to begin this project, I had to slowly cut back on my alcohol consumption, which was one of the most difficult things I ever had to do. The booze was making me lose focus, and in order to accomplish major goals, you must have laser focus on the project you are working on. Without Alcoholics Anonymous or any professional help, I found it within myself and through music to cut back on booze. The excitement of putting out new and improved songs would replace the thrill and fun of being absolutely wasted. Writing down song titles and drawing potential album cover ideas would expand my creative mind even more. My passion had come back full swing, and it was stronger than ever before. These were very confusing times for me as a young man. I would often doubt myself with questions like, will I ever make it? Who's going to want to listen to me? Is it all worth it? What if I fail? Wow, these negative thoughts would just keep me procrastinating to some small degree. Just when I thought it was too tough or that I would fail in the process, my intuition would say, who gives a shit? Go after it anyways, and do not care what anyone else has to think. This is your life. This is your decision. Intuition inside would take over and lead the way through this path of musical creation in some of the darkest times in my life. Without it, I would have given up a long time ago. My brother and right-hand man, Rick One, was overseas in Germany doing his time as a U.S. soldier in the Army. It was me, myself, and I for the most part. Thanks to my Auntie Tammy for letting me record on her Mac computer, and to my cousins Blasphemous and Infamous XL for gaming me up with rap knowledge. My cousin Infamous XL also let me borrow the program Reason 3 by Propellerhead, which would bring my overall music quality to a very, very high level. Now equipped with top-notch beat-making program, a professional computer to record with, a room all to myself, a plan and a vision, I was set and ready to go. Once again, there were many sleepless nights of creating beats and writing lyrics. Drawing potential album covers and other unique artwork would keep me busy for the months to come. Song after song, word after word, my skill level and delivery was definitely improving. Soon I was creating songs that would fit perfectly into this overall vision and goal, which would be my very first full-length rap album. Chapter 8. If you can imagine it, you can hold it. In my mind, the full-length album was already complete, shrink-wrapped and in my hands. The tone of the album and certain ideas and words were coming to me every moment of the day, and sometimes in between sleep cycles. The more I progressed, the closer I got to completing this major goal. Remember, I was on the verge of pretty much giving up on life. This meant no dreams, no goals, and no hope for my future. This album was my way out of alcoholism, but ultimately this project would give me hope for my future. It means more than the world to me, and at the time spent creating it was almost like an experience of enlightenment. Even though the idea was completed within my mind, my heart, and deep within my soul, how would I make it tangible to the world? It was already finished in my thoughts, but to get the real CD in my hands meant years of dedication, perseverance, work, money, and oh yeah, did I mention money? 2 years of beat making, producing, songwriting, self doubt, up and down struggles with alcohol, recording, and coming up with new concepts kept me very, very busy. At this time, I picked up a job as a cook. My grandmother was pleased and saw that I was slowly making my way out of that dark hole I once had dug myself into. Chapter number 9: Action, Action, Action. Self doubt and fear will break even the strongest of men and women down. Fear is also known as false evidence appearing real, according to motivational speaker Les Brown. These emotions were present in my mind as well as combating emotions of courage, strength, and passion. To create this full-length album became my life's purpose and my main mission. When you become dedicated to something that means so much, self-doubt and fear will fall to their knees, begging for mercy at the feet of your courage and strength. Too many people talk and tell you what they're going to do. I was less talkative and more about the action, action, action. There was no time to sit and talk about these ideas that were pouring out of me. If you yourself have a plan and a vision, don't waste time convincing people how great it's going to be. Start taking the action now and show people how great it actually is. New songs like Put the Mic Down and Cared for You pushed my boundaries as an artist, a rapper, and producer to the point that friends and family were hearing a different side of me, a truer and more serious side, opposed to my older, sillier material. This was it, my do or die project. There was absolutely no way that I would give up. Even if I had died, my soul would have came back to finish up what was left. The booze and cigarettes were still a major part of my life during this period, although I was cutting back little by little. My music and this full-length album in particular were way more important to me than sitting at home, being pessimistic, and drinking my sorrows away. You must find your passion, purpose, dream, and make it your mission in life. This will ultimately lead to success and an overall happier well-being. Though money will not come right away, you will soon begin to see income sources coming in from all kinds of unexpected places. It will take time, as does everything else in life. Do not rush the results. Too many people give up. Most people never even start. Take the action today. Chapter 10: Closer Than Close. About 1.5 years into this project, I am getting closer to the completed demo version. One of the most complicated decisions I had to make for this demo was which songs to choose and in which numeric order they would be on this album. I was adding songs, taking other songs out, making brand new ones, rearranging, and figuring out where all these tracks would fit. Months after stressing out on this whole ordeal, I get a call from my brother Rick One, who is now back in the States doing his time with the U.S. Army. As I'm telling him about this project and how close I am to finishing, he bluntly says, "You better have this shit done by the time I get back, man." It was his way of telling me to stop overthinking and simply get it done. It was exactly what I needed to hear at that crucial point in time. Instead of constantly arranging and rearranging songs for the album, I would force myself to stick with an order that would make a full-length album flow. Like water in a creek, songs on an album should move and slide easily without abrupt interruption. 11 songs recorded at home in my creepy room in the garage using my aunt's Mac desktop computer would make the cut for the demo. Mind you, 13 of these beats were all created by myself. All songs and lyrics were also created by me. It was not an easy task, but the love of music made me do it. I would later go to a professional recording studio to finish up the last 2 songs, a few intermissions, and an introduction that would make this project complete. District Recording on the west side of San Jose is where I met producer and musician Ryan. Ryan was already recording a rock and roll side project I had going on at the time when I asked if he had any experience mixing and mastering rap hip-hop music. To my excitement, he said yes, and I immediately expressed the overall passion and mission behind this project I was soon to release. Sure enough, he told me to bring the demo in to the studio so we can get to work. The time had come to put this project into professional hands for a clean and clear sound. Ryan and I would contribute hours of laborious hard work and brainstorm different ideas to bring this album to life. He was able to hear the overall dark tone of the music and had some very good insights of vocal effects such as reverb and deep echoes. It was all coming together full circle. My overall confidence in life was benefiting from this experience. Was this something I had to create? Not really. It was just an idea. It was just a thought. A piece of me that took 2+ years to put together, and at any moment I could have just given up. But instead of pathetically throwing in the towel, I persevered and prevailed. Finishing touches. From the night I looked myself in the mirror and said, just go create a full-length album, to the last and final recording day at District Studios, I was more than ready to wrap this thing up. Like I said before, it had been 2+ years since the very first thought of this album that popped into my mind. The day had finally come, my very own professionally mixed and mastered full-length 14-song Demise album, all tracks in correct order. Everything flowing together just how I imagined it would in my mind. With pride, I held the CD tightly in my hands, excited to expose the world to Demise. But just when I thought I was finished and ready to go on this brand new musical adventure, I realized there was no artwork to go with it. This absolutely stumped me. Who, what, and where the hell was I going to get professional album cover, back cover, CD, and insert artwork created? Luckily, Stella's sister Susan had some experience with Photoshop, and I asked if she can come up with a few mock-ups. The overall idea for the album cover came when photographer and video producer Fado507 and I took a few pictures of me on a hill overlooking our city. This would lead to 3 photo choices for the Demise album cover. Susan made 3 designs that I was initially fond of. Soon I picked the design that I liked the most and was off to ask where a good CD print and press company was. Thanks to Sacramento rapper JDK the Underboss, he referred me to ISO Media in Fremont, California for some of the best professional CD pressings. With an appointment set up at ISO Media, I brought in my first album cover design by Susan. Unfortunately, the file photo was not at a high enough resolution, so it was either have Susan recreate the album cover design at a higher resolution or go to my cousin Blasphemous' childhood friend Chino for a more professional design. Talking to Chino over the phone, I found out that he has a lot of experience in the field of graphics, computers, and album covers. This would be the perfect opportunity. I had to tell Susan that although I liked her designs and work, I would be going with Chino's album cover instead. The new and improved album cover was amazing. Not only the front, but also the back cover as well. The insert and CD itself, with colors like dark red and black, gave the album an even darker and more ominous feel. I would soon head back to ISO Media with the brand new CD cover, insert, and back cover designs. They were all approved. I was ecstatic. Once again, I was getting closer and closer to completing this dream goal I had in mind for such a long time. At any given moment, I could have thrown in the towel and simply quit. But the closer to the finish line, the stronger the determination. Chapter number 12, From Mind to Matter. It was mid-February of 2014 when I called up ISO Media for the 4th time in 5 days, asking when my CDs would be ready for pickup. It had been 2 weeks since placing the finalized order of 300 jewel case, barcoded, and shrink-wrapped full-length Demise CDs, all for $342 and some change. Hey Derek, sorry for the inconvenience. These CDs will actually be ready by 1 o'clock today if you want to come by and pick them up. This was it, the moment of life and death. I was on my way to pick up 2 boxes of 300 CDs in total that would either be the greatest investment of my life or an absolute failure. Either way, I was more than ready to get just one album into my hands. After picking up the two cardboard boxes, one containing 100 albums and the other containing 200 albums, I sit there in the ISO Media parking lot in Fremont, California. It was just me, my 1997 Acura Integra, and two big brown boxes. As if time stood still, I remember pulling out one of the jewel cases from a box, gripping it tight in my hands, raising it up and holding it to my face as the sunlight reflected. Words could not describe the feelings and emotions running through my mind, body, and soul as I gazed at this beautiful piece of art that I strived 2, almost 3 years of creating. Piece by piece, song after song, word for word, night after sleepless night, the hard work, dedication, and labor was my very own special kind of pleasurable torture. What is it that excites musicians, business owners, and entrepreneurs so much that keeps them pushing toward a specific goal, idea, or invention without knowing if it will work out or not? Is it the journey of uncertainty that gives us a peculiar obsessive drive, or do we want to constantly challenge ourselves every day and every night to get this specific goal accomplished? What excites you? What is your passion, purpose, and mission in life? What is your dream? Self-promotion came natural as I believed in this musical masterpiece so much. I worked my cooking job at the time, which was 4 p.m. to 12:30 a.m., then drove straight over to AM/PM off Berryessa and Capitol, where my friend June worked. From 12:45 a.m. to 2 a.m., I would be posted up inside the store, bumping my brand new full-length album on the boombox and in the corner of the section where the snacks were. Customers would walk in, hear the music, and ask who it was that I was listening to. I would proudly and humbly let them know that it was my voice behind the music and would sell copies for $3, $5, even $10. People felt the passion and they knew I was 100% serious about this music lifestyle. So I gotta say thanks to you, June. I also sold my CDs at my job and on the streets, by word of mouth, and pretty much anywhere you can think. I even got the chance to sell my CDs at the famous local record store here in San Jose called Streetlight Records for $7.95. I would go on to sell around 14 to 15 copies. Quite impressive knowing that we are in the digital age of music and video now. These are some of my proudest moments in this musical journey. Family, friends, and acquaintances were all very proud and happy for me. Being single with no kids at the time, I put all my energy and focus into crafting my very first full-length LP and promoting the hell out of it on the streets and in the stores. Live performances would help spread the good word of Demise, plus the fact that I opened and closed my shows with the drum solo also helped spread my name throughout the South Bay and surrounding areas as well. Until now, I regard this album as one of my proudest achievements. A song, an album, an art piece, an invention, a recipe, you name it. Once you decide and fully commit to take immediate action on whatever it is you desire, the planning and goal setting must begin. Create the blueprint for exactly what you want to bring to reality. It all begins in your mind, and through rigorous hard work and dedication, it comes to life into tangible form. Do not fear your gigantic dream, as it can be attained once you break it down into smaller, easy to conquer steps or goals. Believe me, not very many people know about these various techniques, and that is why I am sharing them with you in this short book. Thank you for sticking with me on this crazy and emotional journey from one single idea to tangible form of reality. From mind to matter, from thought to product, the main message behind this whole story is to take your idea, one specific idea at that, and decide whether or not it is something you will work on day and night for years and years through hard times and self-doubt. Basically, what I'm asking is, will you die for this dream passion of yours? Will you look back when you are 65, 75, 85 years of age and ask, what if I followed that dream, passion, or invention? What if I listen to my intuition? Always remember that this is your life and no one else's. As I said before in an earlier chapter, when you become dedicated to something that means so much, self-doubt and fear will fall to their knees, begging for mercy at the feet of your courage and strength. Your purpose, your dream, and your passion needs you to bring it to life. Without you taking the action, it goes unheard and it goes unseen. Take the action today so you won't regret it tomorrow. Thank you.